This is KONR-FM, 106.1 FM, LP Anchorage, and you're listening to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour on Out North Radio. Thank you for joining us this morning.
My name's Kate.
And my name's Kirsten. We're your co-hosts. And as always, we have a show today full of lots of local neighborhood events and other things happening around the neighborhood. It's been kind of a busy summer so far, and I know there's a lot coming up. Especially for you. You brought a whole list of information about some upcoming events to the show today.
Okay.
But first, should we start with some things that are happening immediately, like today, this weekend?
Sure.
So people don't miss that.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, you probably know, Kate, because I know you're into this sort of thing. Did you know today is the first day of the Three Barons Renaissance Fair?
No, but my dad was once in it.
Okay. There you go. So today is the first day of the Three Barons Renaissance Fair, which happens over the course of 2 weekends, I believe, this weekend, and I think it is also going on next weekend. It's not in Mountain View. The fairgrounds are actually over off of 3400 East Tudor Road, but the reason I bring it up is because there are people from the neighborhood participating in it. Especially this year, there's a company that's co-owned by a local guy here in the neighborhood. His name's Chad, and he's the co-owner of Flat Top Drum Company. Have you heard about them?
I've read about it in your magazine.
There you go. So Flat Top Drum Company was co-founded by Chad, who lives in Mountain View, and Matt, who's a local lawyer and musician, and they hand make these hex drums and also cajon drums and other handmade percussion instruments.
Yeah.
And they sell them at like fairs and festivals around Anchorage. And
which makes sense why it's the Renaissance Fair.
Exactly. So they'll be at the Renaissance Fair today. So if you like drumming, or if you know somebody who does, or perhaps you're in a band, perhaps you want to learn about drums, you can check out the Renaissance Fair and look for the Flat Top Drum Company booth, and see if you like what you see.
And magic.
Oh, so much magic. And I love the Renaissance Fair.
I've never been.
The costumes are one of the best parts. So, hey, I know you like dressing up. I've seen you as Princess Leia before.
It's true.
Renaissance Fair isn't that different.
And I'll be dressing up again on June 9th.
Oh, we will get to that in just a second, because I know you have a lot to tell us about what happens on June 9th. It's a big day.
Yeah.
One more thing that's happening in the neighborhood tonight, Saturday, June 2nd, it is the Creative Contour Fashions fashion show.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying stuff about that.
Exactly. And we spoke with Tawana, who's the owner of the boutique, last week, actually. Had an interview with her last week in the show. And this week, today is her fashion show, and it's taking place at the VFW in Mountain View. And that address is 10252 Mountain View Drive. It's $8 at the door for adults and kids, I believe, like 6 and over, but free for little kids. And there's going to be food and entertainment and music and lots of other things. So, yeah, if you live in the neighborhood and you enjoy fashion and you want to get out of the house this evening and maybe go check it out, that is the Creative Contour Fashions fashion show at the VFW in Mountain View tonight. The doors open at 5 p.m. and the show starts at 6.
Go there, watch people dress up, and eat food. That's like the best night.
It sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. So I think that brings us to our next big event.
Yes. June 9th is Lemonade Day. And me and my business partner, which is my brother, are working on, we're going to be going to Bosco's, and we have the address for that, which is Bernard Bosco's, not the diamond one in the mall.
Okay. So it's a little closer to Mountain View. Yeah.
2301 Bernard Road, Anchorage, 99503.
Perfect. And that's right there, kind of the intersection of Spenard and Fireweed, right?
Yes.
And you really can't miss it. It's a nice big building.
Yeah.
The Bosco sign.
One of the reasons I like to do like the Lemonade Day with my brother is since he has a disability, experiences autism. He learned some like skills from doing the lemonade stand,
Very
like
cool.
businessship and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to deal with logistics and customer service and like, operations, all these different things. And he's been doing it with you for a few years now, right?
I think like we did the ones at the library, which was 2 years ago. That was me and my other sister, but then he also helped. And then it was me and him, and then it's me and him again.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you've done business with him for a while,
Yeah.
and of course, for those of you who know Kate, or have been listening to the show for a while, Kate has a lemonade stand business. It's called Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy. You can find it often at the Mountain View Farmers Market, and occasionally, if you're lucky, elsewhere, like Bosco's coming up on Lemonade Day.
So the program, which is Lemonade Day, often pushes kids, not pushes them, but encourages kids to give a profit of their money to an organization.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be giving a part of our profit to an organization called Mojo's Hope, which is the special needs designation covers many areas, which is not limited to behavioral, emotional, physical, and medical, special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And so they help animals with special needs and get people to adopt them and stuff like that. So we're going to have a part of the profit goes to Mojo's Hope.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have something where if you want to just donate to Mojo's Hope, you can put money in there.
Okay.
And we're going to have some flyers. So if you're interested in
learning
helping
more
out
about the
an
organization,
animal or donating, then come get some food or drinks.
Very cool. So that date again is June 9th, which is next Saturday.
Yes.
Right? So we're going to miss you on the show that day.
But I will have something to say.
Yes, of course. You'll have something to say.
So we will sell lemonade, strawberry lemonade, butterbeer, out-of-this-world galaxy cupcakes, lemon blossoms, which are lemon cupcakes with lemon glaze on it, and then fruit infused water.
That sounds fancy.
This time we have some special cups with our logo on them, where it's bigger than our regular cups. So we're going to sell our regular cups for 50 cents, the bigger cups for $1, and then we're still working out how much the butterbeer is going to be. So
I know you've been planning this for a while, and it sounds
Yes.
like everything's coming together, and you have you have your menu all worked out.
Yes, we have a big bag of Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy cups, so you might want to come get some.
Oh, this is going to be great. And Lemonade Day is a pretty big thing citywide, right?
Yeah.
It's kids participate all
Yeah.
over, and it's like you said, something to
A
kind
lot
of encourage.
a lot of kids did it at the Mountain View not the Mountain View Farmers Market, but the Mountain View Street Fair. But since that was canceled, we have to find somewhere else to do it. Which we found it. Which when we talked to Bosco's, they said they did something like this before, so we were good.
That's good.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something to think about. Maybe finding new venues for kids to do Lemonade Day around the neighborhood. So if you're tuning in right now via our Facebook Live, maybe you have a few suggestions for places where young business people like Kate could have their lemonade stands for Lemonade Day or just any time throughout the summer. Because it's really not just a June 9th thing, right?
It's not. You
Yeah.
can do it, but that's a day where it's known that people can do it.
Right. It's recognized and people talk about it. And there's a website. Do you happen to know what the website is?
UAA, I think.
For
Alaska, it's UAA, I think.
We'll figure out what the Lemonade Day
Yes.
stand website is, and we'll make sure people have the right place to go to. So I think we are about to go take a quick break on the show. Stay with us. When we get back, we have a few more events to talk about, and then later today in the show, we will also have an interview with a local athlete and community advocate, and just kind of a guy who all around is really involved in the community, and you probably know him. So stay with us. Stick around to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. My name's Kirsten. This is the radio show all about Mountain View, the neighborhood, and things that happen in the neighborhood and people who live there. And I was just talking with my co-host, Kate, about something exciting that's coming up. It's Lemonade Day,
Yes.
right?
And I just learned that it's lemonadeday.org.
Lemonadeday.org. There you go. I told our listeners that we would come through with that address, right?
Yes.
So lemonadeday.org for more information, but that's June 9th, and Kate actually has a big sign here in the studio. Let me see that. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Okay. So,
It's the one I made for the first Lemonade Day we did.
which was several years ago, right?
Yeah.
You are, yeah.
I think 3.
You're Lemonade Day vet. Okay, so if you're tuning in on the live stream, see our audience has really grown. Here's the sign. One last pitch for youth entrepreneurship and lemonade in general. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is the sign Kate made. You can find her next week. You can find her next week at Bosco's.
If you didn't hear that, it's Bernard Bosco's, 2301 Bernard Road, Anchorage, 99508. I don't know why I keep saying 99508, but
I think that's
let's do it anyway.
That's the wrong zip code. You'll find it. And what time are you going to be there, Kate?
Well, we're going to come to set it up early. I think it's 12 to 2. It might be 10 to 2, but I think it's 12 to 2.
Ooh, so people really have to find that sweet spot if they want the lemonade.
Let me look it up.
Okay. So while Kate is looking that up, we have a few other things that are happening in the neighborhood that would be particularly useful maybe if you have kids or know some kids. This is a pretty cool event. It's happening June 15th and 16th at the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club, which is located at 315 Price Street. It's called Free Cuts for Kids, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's free haircuts for kids. It goes from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it's free for kids 18 and under. So, put that on your calendar if you know a kid who needs a haircut. It's happening June 15th and 16th at the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, okay. It says the set starts up at 9 a.m.
This is for Lemonade Day. Circling back.
This is for the Bosco's.
Okay.
So let me see. It's kind of confusing.
Wow. So, yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it and let people know.
Yeah.
So Cuts for Kids at the Boys and Girls Club. And then about 2 weeks after that, the day that Kate has been waiting for a very long time, approximately since last summer, the first day of the Mountain View Farmers Market. It starts on June 28th, and it goes from 3 to 7 p.m., and it runs weekly on Thursdays, right?
Yes. So we just found out it's from 10 to 2. Okay. We got this. Okay.
Thank you to our support team tuning in on Facebook Live right now with information and if you are, I will just say I should plug the multiple different ways that you can tune into the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. Of course, we're on the radio, so you can find us on 106.1 FM, which is KONR, the Out North station. But of course, this is we have a small transmitter, and it's in South Anchorage, and it doesn't always reach every corner of Anchorage. This is a low power station, right?
Yes.
And so if you can't get it on your radio, which don't feel bad, lots of people can't, you can find it at outnorthradio.com/stream. And that's a really easy way to listen to just the live stream of what's happening on the radio. Or you can also find a live stream on the Mountain View Post Facebook page. And we have a little audience right now watching that way. Yeah. Well, this is the first time we're doing it, actually. And we thought it would be a good idea, like a way for people maybe to ask questions or give us information that we didn't have. Thank you, Brianne.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just kind of like be a part of the show that way, even though you might not physically be here with us in the studio.
But you can ask us questions.
Yeah. Ask us questions or tell us things. So yeah, that's on the Mountain View Post Facebook page. Do we have a comment from a viewer?
Someone said that they can hear us loud and clear from Mountain View on this station. So.
On 106.1?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Yay. Because I haven't always been able to get the signal from my house in the neighborhood, but I have heard from some other neighbors who have been able to. So I think it maybe just depends on kind of where you are. Yay. That makes me happy, though. A few other neighborhood events to note down. One of them kind of kicking off immediately this weekend, tomorrow actually. So you might have noticed a lot of signs around the neighborhood lately.
It's in construction.
Yeah, well, also a lot of construction signs. The ones I'm talking about, though, have shown up kind of stapled to the utility poles around the neighborhood, and they say hope. Have you seen those?
I have seen those. I didn't know what they were about, but I saw them. I feel like they were about a church.
Yes, you are 100% right, and I will tell you what they're about right now. So you probably know that Mountain View has a ton of churches in the neighborhood, approximately a dozen. Sometimes it seems like there's one almost on every street.
And they go in schools, like my school.
Right, and they are in schools too, which brings us to this newest church that is now at home in Mountain View. It's called Mountain View Hope Covenant Church, and they are meeting beginning weekly. They've been having intermittent services throughout the spring because this is still a new church, and they've still been in the process of planting and kind of getting everything together. But they're located at Mountain View Elementary School, and they're starting their regular Sunday services tomorrow, this Sunday. And I believe services start at 10 a.m. So if you're in the neighborhood and maybe you are looking for a church to attend and want to check out something new, Mountain View Hope Covenant Church, you can also kind of read the story behind that church and how it all came together. It was founded by a man and his family who actually live in Mountain View, Pastor Phil Cannon. And so you can read about that story in the latest issue of Mountain View Post magazine on newsstands around the neighborhood, or also on mountainviewpost.com, or check out the service for yourself tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And I know they're very, very happy to have everyone join them.
Yeah.
One more thing that is happening next week, or starting next week, and this isn't a Mountain View specific thing, but it is also happening in Mountain View. It's the Anchorage School District's summer food program. And
I feel like they've done this a lot.
right, this happens every year. It's funded in part by federal grant money, and they provide free breakfasts in some cases and lunches in other cases. And and do we have hecklers on our Facebook live stream right now?
Yes. Namely 5, and 2 I know for sure.
So, yeah, if you're listening on the radio, find us on Facebook Live, and you too can be one of the people leaving comments or asking questions, or
Please ask us questions.
or teasing Kate, possibly. So yeah, the Anchorage School District Summer Food Program. The 2 locations in Mountain View that people might be interested in knowing about are at your school, Clark Middle School, right?
And that's by the library. So
Right.
if you don't know where those 2, they're across from Red Apple.
Right. And if you don't know where those are, then
Sorry,
you're-
buddy.
you're lost. No, they're easy to find. So Clark Middle School, right there at the intersection of Braga and Mountain View Drive, they are serving lunch and breakfast. Breakfast is being served from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m., and then lunch is from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m.
I think that's really smart because kids usually get their lunch at school. So if they don't get it from school, sometimes
Right.
it'd be bad.
In the summer, they
Yeah.
are looking for some place to eat, and I think that's the exact idea behind this program.
Yeah.
So it's free for kids 18 and under, and the stipulation is you have to eat your food there. You can't take it away with you. But so Clark, and then also Lions Park, they won't be serving breakfast at Lions Park, at Mountain View Lions Park, but there will be lunch, and
That's really smart because it's like a park, so people can eat and then play at the park.
right. And there are usually so many kids there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Especially during the summer. So Lions Park, there's no breakfast there, but there is lunch served 12:45 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so all of these meals are served Monday through Friday. There's nothing on the weekends, but you can find options both at Clark and Lions Park.
Yeah. And I feel like at the Boys and Girls Club too, because they have the.
They also serve meals, I believe, at the Boys and Girls Club, and I think the summer hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Not for meals, but just that the Boys and Girls Club is
Yeah.
open. So if you want to maybe stop by and
They have
see
certain
more
times where
information.
you eat.
Right. And then, of course, there's also the food pantry that happens on Fridays at New Hope Baptist Church.
Isn't that the one by?
It's right next to the Boys and Girls Club, right there on Price Street in Mountain View. And that happens, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact time that starts, but I know a line is forming around 4 o'clock. And so you want to get there around then if you're interested in attending that food pantry or possibly volunteering, something like that.
Yeah.
So the next interview we have, or the next event we have to talk about, leads us into our interview. And before we do that, I know we are going to take a quick break, right? One more break
Yes.
to kind of catch up with. Wow, our audience is huge. I think
6.
it's doubled since I looked at it last. Very cool. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. When we come back, we will have an interview about a special event that is starting next week and will be happening all this month in Mountain View. So stay tuned with the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. So we have been talking all show long. I almost didn't realize that we are coming right up now at the end of the hour. So we've been talking all show long about the many events we have in the neighborhood happening both today and tomorrow and later
forever.
throughout. Forever. It never ends, right, Kate? But there's something special that is starting next week at Begich Middle School, and then the week after that at Clark Middle School, and it's part of the same program, and it will happen. Let's see, all throughout the month of June. through June 28th. And it's called Up in AK with Mao Tosi, Solutions Through Basketball. It is a 3-on-3 basketball development camp. It's open to grades 3 through 8th. And it's sponsored by, or supported by many different community organizations and put on by Mao Tosi, who is the manager of the Northway Mall, and also a longtime community advocate. You may have heard of his youth development group, AK Pride, and also, editor's note and disclaimer, he also is my former employer from a few years ago. Anyway, this month he is putting on this basketball camp for kids to participate in this summer. There is a website you can learn more. It's unitingpeopleak.com. But yesterday I had the opportunity to sit down with Mao at the Northway Mall to talk a little bit about this, to talk a little bit about the camp and what's happening and kind of how it all came together. But mostly the idea that this is much more than just a basketball camp. Take a listen.
I think right now in our city, we're all concerned about the crime issues and the disconnect that we all have in our community with each other. So basketball, I just using it as a solution is to say that we need to come together to try to be a solution to the crime issues that we have in our city. And, basketball saved my life. So I believe it's something that we need to get back to finding ways that we can connect more. And this is a good way. So it gives us a way to connect with kids, but also gives those out there in the community that are trying to support a solution, a way to support something. So at least they can see something coming naturally from the community. Just people coming together, just concerned about all the issues. And in hopes that we can also raise awareness to our city that we're out here trying and hope that they are also supporting what we're doing, but trying to find the solutions for the concerns we all have.
This basketball camp that's starting on Monday, there are several parts to it, I understand. There's the camp part, but there's also a mentorship component, yes. Right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our goal is to train our high school athletes to have all the basketball training that they can possibly have and at the highest level. But while we provide that for them is to ensure that they also will get the leadership side of it. It's not enough that we give them already what they are good at, but it's to say that they got to pay it back as well, that, this is an opportunity to raise awareness to not only their futures, but the issues affecting their communities, if they can play a role within it. Right now, we're trying to make that possible. So our high school kids are very important that if we train them and mentor them to provide them all the resources to be the best basketball player they are, then hopefully the leadership parts are also a piece that they take on. But we will ensure that they learn some of that as they'll be coaching our younger kids in 3-on-3 basketball, 3rd, 4th grade, 5th, 6th grade, 7th to 8th grade, so we can throw them in the fire to already be a big brother, big sister to kids around. A lot of our issues right now is there are kids who don't have parents in their lives as often or as consistently. So it's good to have some positive reinforcement on a regular basis. So we're glad that we can at least be that 3-4 days a week in the summer just to connect, because our goal is to get to the school year and hopefully have a relationship with kids that will support the solutions we will be during the school year.
So I know this is definitely not the first time that you've done some programming for kids in the summer, and you're very experienced in this field. Can you tell me a little bit more about your background doing this kind of work, and also throughout that, what you've seen as far as the need for these kind of programs in the summer and having these things for kids to go do?
Well, I think right now what we're seeing in our city is there is a lack of opportunity, a lack of options for youth very heavily, that what we're seeing because of that, we're seeing bad choices being made in our city. So all we're trying to do is to get back to build that relationship back up, but also to raise awareness to as many kids as we possibly can to make better choices. But if they do have an interest in basketball, that it is a vehicle that they can utilize. And so if this solution does work this year, then hopefully next year we can add football and music and culture and arts, as the goal is to provide every option available to our students here so that we want them all. That's our goal, is that not every kid is a basketball player. If we can connect more of them, we will. But we're just happy to get started this year. No matter what, basketball saved my life, and that's kind of the role I get to play this year. But my kids are in it, so I'm excited that last year actually, I did a very similar camp, but it was only with my kids. That I was more afraid to open it for others, but trying not to be afraid is kind of what we should all be in our city, and starting with myself. So it's kind of a good place to be, to where I think we all just need to believe we can again.
So, well, what kind of interest have you seen in the camp so far? And yeah, tell me about that. You said you were kind of afraid to open it up, but how's it been going so far?
It's good. Right now, I would like to connect with all the best basketball players and all the parents who have an interest in their kids playing, because I need to know who's supporting them, and to know that if there is little support around them and they're coming on a regular basis, then it's to understand that I probably need to be a little more with them. But we are happy with the number of kids. It's not about the quantity. I'll take 2 kids if that's what I have. But I expect that we'll probably be around 15 to 20 high school athletes. And that's a good number to start with. Hopefully by next year, and that's why I started with basketball, is to keep a low number. I'm a football player too. Those numbers are very high in football, and that's why we wanted to start in basketball. It's less numbers, but it is also where my 9th grader is right now, and he loves it. So it gives me an opportunity to be a dad for him. But if anything, I wanted to be more than that, is why we forced it out this year. Really appreciate the Anchorage School District for donating the gym. I tell them, give me a gym, I'll provide a free program. It's always tough when a cost is incurred as well, as I got to figure out a way to pay for it most of the time. I appreciate Kaladi Brothers for jumping on in with me as well, and Alaska WorkSource for being my nonprofit watching over us.
So there are some community partners offering support along the way.
Yes.
You mentioned a little earlier, and also at the beginning of the interview, that basketball saved your life. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so these camps take place in East Anchorage, Northeast Anchorage, where unemployment is highest. Prevention opportunities, extracurricular activities for youth are less. So if we could do anything, is to make sure that we can be consistent for the kids in this area, like it was for me, that basketball was one of the few options available at that time, but it was more about carrying mentorship to be there as well, that I really would not have heard so well if it wasn't for someone who cared a little bit. But basketball brought that forward, to where a coach provided a meal, a coach provided a little bit of love and a little bit of caring that helped me to make better choices in high school, that I was able to go off to college and go off to the NFL and do things, that even after that, it's to never forget where you came from. And so we got to instill that in our kids, even now, that they understand what they are a part of, and that being a good athlete has nothing to do with being a good leader. So it's ensuring that they at least hear that. So this is kind of my disclaimer, not only for my kids, but for every kid that's involved with our after school or with our programs, is your talent is only so much, is kind of how I leave it, is to try to humble them in the ways that need to be before life humbles them, is kind of how I see it. So, yeah.
You mentioned to always remember where you came from, and I think I saw you post on Facebook that Clark used to be your old stomping grounds.
Yes. I work at a property where, when I was going to Clark Middle School, my first time skipping school was to come here to this mall. My first fight was a mile away from my middle school. A lot of the issues that I dealt with in middle school at Clark are still issues now. So we're just very excited and very happy to try to be some type of solution, especially in a community I love. So from there, I'm happy to be at Clark. I wish that we could be there every day. Truly, to provide basketball is only one solution that we offer. But we look forward to next year that culture can tie into our leadership program during the summer, that dance and music and art can all be a part of the summer program in leadership, and possibly even the media component and photography as well, working with a good friend. So, our goal is solutions. We need solutions, and we need to recognize solutions. We need to recognize community partners and business partners out there that support solutions. But coming together in solutions has nothing to do with politics. It's all about those who care first. And those are who I run with, and really appreciate those folks. And even the parents are probably the biggest part, that we need all to play a role of some sort. But right now, let's just get to meet each other.
So you mentioned getting to meet your neighbors and finding these solutions. When people see the poster for this event, it might just look like a fun, awesome opportunity to send your kids to go play some basketball for the summer. But like you mentioned, there's really a lot more to it than that, and there's mentorship and learning about leadership and all these other things. Over the course of, I want to call it your career, but it's kind of more than that and not really that. Over the course of all the years you spent working with youth and putting these programs together, can you tell me about the payoff or the results that you've seen? Because oftentimes it takes much longer, and it might not be something that's apparent over the course of a summer or 2 summers, but if you have those consistent alternatives for people, what have you seen as far as long-term benefits?
Well, I think those are the best parts of it. Just seeing a 13, 14-year-old at 24, at 30, is the blessing of it all. That, I think that's the best part of being on social media for me is I don't usually track it, but my rewards are watching them grow. So.
I guess the last question I had for you, unless there was anything that I didn't touch on, how can people who might be hearing this and really want to sign up or get involved, how can they contact you, or where would be the best place to go to get more information about this camp and sign up? UnitingPeopleAK.com is a new website we created. But I'm pretty easy. Stop by the Northway Mall, ask for the Big Harry Simone guy. They'll point you in the direction of 2 of us. So, and we'll go from there. But mautosi@gmail.com is probably the easiest way to connect with me, or go on Facebook. But we're a small town, so probably ask someone next to you is probably the next thing I would share. And that basketball camp, it starts on Monday, June 4th?
Actually, we start June 5th with the 3-on-3 camp. So
okay.
The first day is all mentorship for my high school teens, that I want to prepare them for coaching moving forward. But it is a fun thing, and that's the best part is we need to keep it fun. Those are the carrots that get them there. But as they are there with us, that we want to raise awareness to any issues out there, and any future direction that we believe they should move towards. And all we're doing is planting seeds, that if 15-minute presentations can be provided and that's all that they can pay attention to every now and then we'll go ahead and drop those seeds every now and then on a regular basis. But we got 4 weeks is the best part. So to see a formula of where we can plant certain presentations and awareness to bullying, suicide, crime, drugs, we'll do all those things, and we'll partner with many who we believe are the quality of the presentations that we need to see in front of our kids. But we just want people in front of our kids who truly care and have a message that we believe should be connected. And so if you are one of those folks that have a message or a presentation that you believe that our children should hear, we would love to share those out, as we are not here to be the message, is to connect any messages that we believe in.
And that was Mautosi, manager of the Northway Mall, and also with AK Pride Youth Clubs. He's running the Solutions Through Basketball 3-on-3 League basketball camp, taking place this summer, starting next week, and going through June 28th, both at Begich Middle School and Clark Middle School. You can learn more about that online on his website, which is unitingpeopleak.com. Okay, I think that brings us right to the end of our show today.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to everyone who tuned in, both here on air and also to our Facebook Live earlier. Of course, you can learn more about the radio show and listen to past episodes, or maybe send us a note if you have an idea for a future show on our website, which is mountainviewpost.com. And the radio page specifically is mountainviewpost.com/radio. So thank you for tuning in to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. We'll see you next week.
Bye.